NTA is conducting through the centralization process, they are working with the help of contractual employees. We see such a situation going on in a democracy like India, where more than 150 crore population is decided. So we demand from the PDSU that the body like NTA should be abolished. The government should abolish the body NTA and decentralize the education process and recruitment process, because NTA has failed at every stage to conduct the examination freely. Every time they conduct any examination, they come up with re-examination notice. Every time they conduct examination, they come up with the paper leak. Who are doing this? So if you are failed, you have to abolish this. We demand this. So second, I would like to say on NEP, National Education Policy. This government came up with their vendetta right-wing fascistic policy, NEP 2020, New Education Policy 2020. Through this New Education Policy 2020, what they are trying to exactly do? They are trying to change the main fundamental characteristics of our education system. Before this BJP RSS government, there were Congress government in power. People used to demand for a free and fair education system, examination system, or recruitment process, but there were many problems. This government came to the power with the hope. Indian people came with their own tactics, they fall in their trap and hope that something good will happen in this region. But what we see, this government comes up with a draft policy or policy of NEP, National Education Policy, through which they are changing very ethos of the country. They are changing the syllabus of NCERT. They have cancelled the Mughal period. They have cancelled secularism chapter, social justice chapter from the NCERT syllabus. And they are changing whole structure of the education system, through which India used to have a unity in diversity, because India is not a country of any one caste, one religion, or one gender. Because this government, their motto is to implement the Brahminical patriarchy, the Manuvadi system they want to launch. They want to throw a Manuvadi system on us through this NEP model. We defy this and we will fight till this NEP get abolished. Third, I want to say that this government this BJP government, this is not a simple government that Congress went and BJP came, A went, B came. This is not just a power, just a government came after throwing out another government. This government is a government which has RSS backup, which is fascist, which has Nazi tendencies. And how they are doing it? They are actually doing it by appropriating cultural means by our institutions, through our education institutions, through our cultural institutions, through every means. They are trying to change it culturally. So we always observe that is it that if fascist government goes and another government comes to the power, is everything is going to be correct? But BJP, what is doing, they are changing the cultural ethos of this country. So we have to work towards fundamentally correcting our own cultural means, our institutions, be it education institutions or be it other cultural institutions. And now, comrade, how much time do I have?
5 minutes only.
Okay. So
within 3 minutes you conclude.
Okay, 2 more minutes I'll say. Lastly, I will address the NEET issue, on which the whole country fought at Jantar. Started from Jantar Mantar and spread it throughout the country. That NEET itself is a Brahminical institute, because through NEET, what you are doing, you are actually trying to exclude many people who are coming from marginalized caste and class background. Through doing this Brahminical patriarchal structure, you are implementing it throughout country, where you can see that this country, starting from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and Arunachal Pradesh to Gujarat, you are trying to impose this system on everyone. but you are not giving chance to the people who are coming from this country has no unification. Not every people are Hindi speaking, not every people are coming from some religious same caste background. So you are trying to impose your neat system on whole the country. We defy this. We have fight this fight also. Lastly, I'll say that PDSU participated at Jantar Mantar. This is, I will congratulate every one of you who stood in solidarity, because there is a say that solidarity against injustice anywhere is solidarity against injustice everywhere. Not necessarily everybody would come to Jantar Mantar, but everybody, wherever our PDSU comrades stood against this injustice, they are standing together in solidarity to fight this government, to fight for a better education system, better society, better tomorrow. So PDSU was there and fought. We were there. We fought in rain, in everything was there. Again, government came on us heavily. There was police repression, police brutality. Then also we fought. We know that the movement which started by CJP, this movement, all left organizations, especially PDSU, is fighting from very old days. Not that PDSU or any other few organizations fighting it. This fight started from CJP. No, this fight did not start with CJP. But CJP, what did? They tried, they succeed to accumulate the anger of the people at a place. We are working since many days. Our comrade who started this PDSU, George Reddy, is fighting from 1950, 1960s. This organization has a great legacy fighting from 1970s. But this time we see that at Jantar Mantar, CJP succeed to accumulate the anger at a place where all people came together, all Genjis, all students, all youth came together to fight, to call out this government. So what was our demand? How PDSU joined? PDSU also, from the beginning, PDSU also see that we are also observing that where this government movement is going and how this movement is going. So we joined the movement with our own demand, that along with the demand of resignation of Dharmender Pradhan, PDSU added few more demands. One demand was the scrap NTA, abolish NEP, and the budget, the percentage of budget government is doing as an expenditure in education system, that should be 10% of our budget. That was PDSU's demand. We joined the movement with our own demand for the structural change of the education system itself, for the structural change of this country, for a better employment, for the better future. And the CJP, the protest, the Genjis, the youth, which led the movement, they got a success in terms of getting the resignation of Dharmender Pradhan. So what is created? Dharmender Pradhan resigned, someone else came. The person who came to the chair is much more fascist. Fascism has no range, but this person garlanded the Bilkis Banu rapists. This person stood in the side of Bilkis Banu rapists. But what PDSU said there, that no matter who came to the power, Dharmender Pradhan will go, some Yogandhar will come, Yogandhar will go, Sarvender will come. Doesn't matter who is in power. We need a better education system. This was our demand. With this demand, PDSU was there. This movement gave a hope. This movement has many loopholes. We could have gained much more better outcome than what we got. We could have gained much more in terms of material outcome, in changing the NTA, abolition of NTA, or in changing the budget itself in education. But whatever we got, the resignation, that set and hope inside the youth and students of this country. We are seeing this as a positive change, at least on the face of this government, who used to say that in our government there is no resignation happen. But this government also came under the pressure that when the Genjis, the youth of this country will raise their voice, no matter how much fascist you are, you have to stay back. So with this hope, I just conclude that this is just a suruat. we have to fight a long battle. This movement gave us a hope that it is possible. This movement gave us a first hope that if we work together, if we stand together, so there is a hope for a betterment of our society, for the betterment of our coming days education system. With this hope from the Pdsu JNU, I extend my revolutionary greetings and keep hope for the better future and for better education system. Lal Salam, all my comrades. Lal Salam to all our comrades from all the states and all the parts of India. Revolutionary greetings. Jai Bhim, Lal Salam, comrades. And I extend my Hul Johar and Satrangi Salam to all my comrades. Inklabi Istiqlal.
Okay, comrades Saurav, last comrades, in this webinar, Delhi, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and West Bengal, Assam, and Assam, Bihar, Orissa, and Uttar Pradesh comrades are there in this webinar, student comrades, and also 5 senior comrades, Comrade P. Pradeep, Comrade P. Prasad, Comrade Mrugang, and Anup Baisya is there in our webinar. Comrade, one thing, so other than speaker, all are put on in our speakers and videos are silent mode. Other than speaker, only speaker should open your video and it should be in portrait mode, landscape mode. Follow these rules, comrades.
Mahesh, Comrade Mahal is not available this time.
Okay.
They are in another meeting.
Right. Okay, no problem. So we can proceed. Comrade, only speaker, open your video and audio. Other than speaker, all are should be in silent mode, comrades. And the speaker should be on landscape mode. So, Comrade Amandip from Punjab Students Union. I invite Comrade Amandip.
Comrade, please announce our meeting is in live Facebook and YouTube.
Yes. One more thing.
Live.
Our meeting is on going to on live in YouTube and also as well as Facebook. So maintain some silence, comrade. Comrade Amandip. Aman, Punjab Students Union. Comrade Amandip. Yes.
जी comrade.
Yes.
Can I talk in Hindi or English?
English is better.
तो फिर मैं अपनी बात हिंदी में रख देता हूँ महेश जी.
Okay. You talking Hindi. Comrade Manmohan JNU is translated. Manmohan ji.
Yes. Okay, comrade.
Okay, right.
तो जिस टॉपिक पे हम लोग अपनी डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं.
So please maintain time 5 minutes time.
Okay.
Right.
हाँ, तो मैं कुछ की पॉइंट्स जो है वो इसमें रेज करना चाहता हूँ. एक तो ये है कि जो हमने पिछले कुछ जो बीजेपी का रजीम है जो पिछले कुछ ईयर्स है, इसमें हमने कैंपसेस को चेंज होते हुए देखा है. तो उसमें एक तो जो डेमोक्रेटिक स्पेस है उसमें काफी ज्यादा कैंपस में ये प्रॉब्लम आई है, वो श्रिंक हुई है, वो अंडर अटैक है. तो उससे हमें ये पॉइंट ज्यादा माइंड में रखना चाहिए कि स्टूडेंट्स की जो ऑर्गेनाइज्ड मूवमेंट है जो पहले दिखाई देती थी, जेएनयू है, जामिया है, जहाँ पंजाब में भी बहुत सी अच्छी एजुकेशन स्टूडेंट्स की थी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड वे में. तो उसमें उसका जो है वो उसका इफेक्ट है जो वो कम हुआ. तो उस तरह की मूवमेंट वो क्यों कम हुई है? एक तो उसमें है कि इन जनरल जो यूनिवर्सिटीज की डेमोक्रेटिक स्पेस है उसमें वो अंडर अटैक आई है. इसकी वजह से कुछ चीजें जो प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट हुआ है. दूसरा एक चीज हमने ये नोट की है कि जो अभी जंतर मंतर में हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि वहां से हमें एक होप दिखाई दी है. जो ये प्रोटेस्ट हुआ तो उसमें तो कोई इसमें पॉइंट नहीं है कि वो तो होप है उसमें, यूथ जिस तरह से आया है, एजुकेशन का एजेंडा भी डिस्कशन में आया है। तो एक बात जरूर है कि हमने एक डिफरेंस नोट किया है। तो जब कोई लेफ्ट की ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इस तरह की कॉल देती है तो उसमें स्टूडेंट्स इस तरह से पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर रहे हैं। वो उसकी जो मोबिलाइजेशन की कैपेसिटी है, स्टूडेंट्स को ऑर्गेनाइज्ड करने की जो टीम्स की कंस्ट्रक्शन है, उसमें प्रॉब्लम्स आई हैं। तो स्टूडेंट्स की अट्रैक्शन क्यों कम हुई है? तो उसमें मुझे ये लगता है कि एक तो जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हम लोग एक पूरा चार्ट लेके चलते हैं डिमांड्स का। तो उसमें हम लोग उसको उस एक बहुत से पॉइंट्स होते हैं, तो उसके ऊपर हम लोग स्ट्रगल करते हैं। तो वो स्ट्रगल जैसे चलते हैं तो उसमें स्टूडेंट्स उस तरह से नहीं आए। अभी क्या हुआ है कि एक डिमांड, और उस एक डिमांड पे जब तक उसका सॉल्यूशन ना हो जाए तब तक उसके ऊपर एजिटेशन हुआ है। तो हमें इन चीजों को नोट करना होगा, ताकि इस ये जो उस डेमोक्रेटिक स्पेस की वजह से अब जो क्राइसिस है वो तो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट का भी है, एजुकेशन का है, वो तो तमाम किस्म का क्राइसिस है। तो उसके खिलाफ जो स्पॉन्टेनियस मूवमेंट्स हो रही हैं, तो इन स्पॉन्टेनियस मूवमेंट्स में जो हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं वो किस तरह से इंटरवीन कर सकती हैं, सक्सेसफुली इंटरवीन कैसे कर सकती है। तो अगर हमने इन स्पॉन्टेनियस मूवमेंट में इंटरवीन करना है या हमने खुद से किसी स्टूडेंट मूवमेंट पे मोबिलाइज करना है, स्टूडेंट्स को फाइट में लेकर आना है, तो हमें ये चीजें एक ऐसा भी एक्सपेरिमेंट करके देखना चाहिए कि ये जो हमारे स्लोगन्स हैं, जो हम लोग नारा लगाते हैं, जो हम लोग जिस तरह से पोस्टर मेकिंग करते हैं, तो जो आज की जनरेशन है उसमें हमें भी थोड़ी क्रिएटिविटी एक तो करनी पड़ेगी। एक डिमांड को लेकर के उसके ऊपर थोड़ा इस तरह से काम करना होगा ताकि वो स्टूडेंट्स आ सके। दूसरा है, हमें सोशल मीडिया के ऊपर हम जो हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस है उनका जो काम करने का मेथड है, तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हम लोग एक प्रोटेस्ट करते हैं, उस प्रोटेस्ट की हम लोग एक न्यूज या एक कटिंग उसको जस्ट उसको डाल देते हैं। तो उसमें हमारे पास अभी क्या होता है कि क्रिएटिव हमारा जो मेथड है वो क्रिएटिव नहीं है उतना। हम क्या करते हैं, एक पोस्टर डाला या एक प्रोटेस्ट किया, छोटे छोटे प्रोटेस्ट है उसको सीधा डाल दिया, लेकिन उसको कोई उस तरह से नहीं देखता। अभी जो सोशल मीडिया के ऊपर हमें थोड़ा फोकस होकर के काम करना होगा। तो ये चीजें हमें अंडरस्टैंड करनी होगी। थोड़ा अपने जो मेथड हमारे एजिटेशन के भी है उनको भी देखना होगा। ऐसे जैसे अभी हुआ कि पहले तो ये बोला गया कि जंतर मंतर का जो प्रोटेस्ट था उसमें हम लोग इंटरवीन करने में डिले किया है। तो अभी जैसे क्या है कि अब उन्होंने स्कूल एजुकेशन के ऊपर जिस तरह का अभी आया है, और प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने जो लाल किले के अपने 15 अगस्त पे उसमें भाषण में बोला कि दिमागी नक्सल ऐसे जो है उसके ऊपर हम लोग ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में कैसे उसको सोशल मीडिया पे प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं। तो हमें मेरा क्रक्स में बात लास्ट में ये बोलना चाहूंगा कि एक तो ये प्रॉब्लम है कि स्टूडेंट्स लेफ्ट के झंडे के नीचे इस तरह से नहीं आ रहा, तो हमें उसका वे निकालना होगा। इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि लेफ्ट का झंडा छोड़ दिया जाएगा। मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि उसमें हम थोड़ा नेचुरल लगे। हमारी जो टर्मिनोलॉजी है, हम लोग एक वैसी टर्म्स यूज करते हैं स्पीक करते वक्त जो एक क्लासिकल टर्म्स हैं, तो उनके बजाय हमें कुछ ऐसी इन जनरल टर्म्स में अपनी बात को इजी टर्म्स में रखनी होगी। क्योंकि जब हम भी एजिटेट करते हैं, अभी पंजाब में हमने किया है, हमारा एक स्ट्रगल चल रहा है पंजाबी यूनिवर्सिटी में, तो उसमें भी ये देखा है कि जो हमारी टर्मिनोलॉजी है, जैसे हम लोग एम्पिरियलिज्म या काफी टफ बात रखते हैं, क्योंकि अब की जनरेशन है वो डायरेक्ट बात करती है। तो ये चीज का भी ख्याल रख के हमें अपनी अप्रोच में, मेथड्स में थोड़ा डिफरेंस लाना होगा, और थोड़ा और भी है कि सोशल मीडिया पे भी हमें काम वो करना होगा। तो इस तरह से हमें जो है वो अपना काम है जो वो करना चाहिए। तो थैंक यू कॉमरेड, मैंने इतनी बात रखी।
Okay, comrade.
Yes.
Thank you. Comrade Manmohan, you briefly say.
Yes. I'll just
Hmm.
briefly, put it that Comrade Amandeep mentioned that the organized movements in the universities have reduced, and one of the major cause of that is also reduction in democratic space within the universities. And also, we see a difference that while a lot of students participated in Jantar Mantar, we don't see a lot of students participating under organized left banners. And the reason for that are some that he listed some of the reasons. One of them is that we do not pursue with just one demand, and there's an entire charter of demands, and the slogans and posters have to be more creative to cater to the characteristic, the new generation. And the use of social media, we right now we just use protest news clippings. So we would do huge protests, but then we would use only the news clippings to showcase that protest on the social media. However, that should not be done. I mean, it should be done in a better way. Right now the emphasis is on school education, and also the prime minister's speech about dimagi naxals has to be seen, and we must put this out in social media in a way that gets attention. In Punjabi University, also comrades are leading a struggle, and they have noticed that while their use of terms like imperialism and others are not so easy for the students to grasp, and therefore we should get to the level of the students and struggle and build struggles in a way that students are able to join us.
Okay, comrade. Comrade Siddhartha Tara from PMS. Now invite. Comrade Siddhartha Tara.
Just a
Yes.
minute.
Okay. Speaker should turn on your videos, comrade. It is
Hello,
go live on YouTube.
revolutionary greetings to all. I am Dr. Siddharth Tara from Progressive Medicos and Scientists Forum. Uh, uh, Most of you know us from our interactions in the farmers' protest and Shaheen Bagh movement and the recent NEET protest. I will briefly uh, introduce my organization and then move on to the role what we see as of students, and specifically medical students and resident doctors in pro people movements, and specifically this movement. PMSF is an organization of medical scientists and doctors who work in teaching hospitals and medical colleges. So mostly we are our main body is comprised of ex student union leaders, medical student union leaders, scientist associations. So and we have a long history of activism and allyship and solidarity with pro people's movement. We have been active since 80s. And now to the matter at hand, which is the uh, paper leak movement and its implications, and how we have to cope with the new reality. I would like to uh, refer to the point which Comrade Saurabh made, Comrade Saurabh from Pdsu made, uh, what is happening in Jharkhand. The nominally or in the superficially center left parties have abandoned that protest and are basically oppressors of a progressive movement, because I believe the central problem here is that we have reduced the democracy to just an act of voting. I believe uh, with just voting we only get to choose the flavor of our oppressors every 4 or 5 years. we cannot achieve true democracy by just voting. And we can clearly see that how it happened in Jharkhand, that center left parties crushed and brutally crushed a pro people's movement, a student movement. So many people are considering what happened in Jantar Mantar as a source of hope, but I believe we have to be cautious, and the reason is that because it might not be just a symbol of hope, it might be the anger that the breakdown of trust and the anger that resulted, it boiled over. So maybe it was just a pressure relief system, like when the pressure builds up in the pressure cooker, there is a uh, so maybe like that's what that happened. It became successful, but there was no guarantee that it would have been so. And how effective it will be, it was a great uh, starting point, but we have to build upon this. And to the point that the previous speaker said from Punjab, ki why the calls and movements which are given by the uh, core left student groups are not taken as seriously as ideologically not so committed groups, like as happened in the by CJP, for example. I think the reason, and there was another point why student politics have moved away from these struggles. Like few organizations like Pdsu and others are doing it. So I will come to these 2 points. Uh, the first one was ki I think we have to the core of activism, what we do comes from individual spirit and like and an organized setting, but which is totally volunteer based. And like it's just we have a passion and a sense of justice, but individuals are like prone to fatigue and personal commitments. How these groups who have paid media channels and paid handles on social media, we cannot compare grassroots movements, the momentum of grassroots movement, with these well organized and well media friendly uh, groups, because those some of it is like you will do some because they are doing it because some of the people supporting them are doing it as a job, they are being paid, some of them. With us it's just pure volunteer basis, we have to organize by ourselves, there is no monetary benefit exactly. And that's where, and now why student politics have been moving away, and not just in medical colleges but like in many places. Like there is superficial, we say the word salad, progressive liberal word salad, but we never come out in real solidarity, is because electoral parties have hijacked the very healthy independent student politics and ideological scene, because they also have the backing, monetary backing, and an organization which our organizations are just as old, but they have many benefits, and they look very attractive to the young people. And they just do this thing that they act as a pressure relief system. Uh, at the core, they also don't want any change. It's just changing the nature of your oppressors. So they are just for semantics, and we have to uh, stay away and give. What we can do is not, we cannot fight them directly because sometimes they are our allies, but we have to maintain our presence. Just our presence gives the hope that there are alternatives which are true at the core. uh, I can speak more, but I think I have taken my as a time. Do I have some time?
No, conclude, comrade, please. You conclude.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Uh, I will come to what PMSF, what our like we used to, I will conclude by saying PMSF have always been, uh, as expression of solidarities, we used to put up medical camps at protest sites. But we there is another aspect that we play, that is that is of whistleblowers against police brutalities and human rights violation, because our members, because of being just because of them being doctors, they can see what happens to protesters when they are brought to the hospitals. So our network of doctors, we collect evidence so that we can refute what the government and police says. And we have done that successfully in the farmers movement. When the police said there were no live ammunition used, we proved that. We tracked the patients. In some instances, we transported the patients to the hospitals. And again, in this NEET protest, we exposed the use of pellet guns and shock batons. So that is the role we played, and we are and we are blessed to be part of this. We are very honored to be invited in this meeting, and I would like to conclude it. Thank you.
Okay, comrade. Thank you. Thank you for your valuable message. So now I invite comrade Mahesh from Tamil Nadu, RSYF. Please share your ideas, comrade. So please maintain time also, comrade. 5 minutes time. There are some five. There are four senior comrades also there. Comrade Mahesh from Tamil Nadu.
Okay,
Right.
comrade. Can you hear me, comrade?
Yes, yes. You please turn on your video.
Comrade, I am outside. I'll just talk.
Okay, okay, right. Carry on.
Lal salam to all the Dimagi Naxals who are attending this webinar. I am Magesh from RSY of Tamil Nadu. My dear comrades, our unbeloved PM Narendra Damodar Das Modi had given us a new term to call ourselves. Earlier, the CJI of India had called the sensible youth of this nation as cockroaches. Now the PM had called us as Dimagi Naxals. What is a Dimagi Naxal? What is it, comrade? It is nothing but a person who have the audacity to question this fascist regime, who question the need for building a temple by spending crores of money when the educational institutions in rural areas are yet in a much poor condition, and who is brave enough to ask the question why the welfare policies of this nation keep on welfaring the capitalists of this country. The person who are raising these issues are termed as Dimagi Naxals by our unbeloved PM comrades. First of all, I would like to thank All India Coordination for organizing this webinar among our Dimagi Naxals to discuss about the tasks before us at the present moment of student uprising, to discuss how we are gonna organize Gen Z, the so-called Gen Z under a political ideology, the same Gen Zs who we thought are incapable of any form of revolution, who we thought are not ready to listen more than 30 seconds regarding anything, and who we blatantly labeled as the most unserious generation ever. You know what, comrades? What that Gen Z do? That so-called Gen Z had conducted a protest for a serious issue in the most unserious manner ever known. Legendary, isn't it? They had shown us a new way to protest, and they had shown us how a protest will be enjoyed by the masses of this nation. But are they on a right path? No. The answer is simply no. Because they demanded for a fair comrades. To more precisely put it, they demanded for an accountability, as their placards only hold the demand for fairness. But in real, they demanded for an accountability. But is demanding for accountability enough? The answer is again no, comrades. Demanding for accountability is not enough. As we see, after the resignation of educational minister, who had occupied that position? A Dimagi Naxal like us are? No, another RSS cadre member who happens to be a PJP member, and now he will go on implementing the same educational policies in an unfair manner. So it is clear that demanding accountability and apology from a government is not enough. as the BJP government is more than ready to offer an apology, as they come from the lineage of Savarkar, they will be always ready with their pen and paper to offer an apology. Modi be like, I'm I'm sorry, I couldn't generate employment opportunities as I promised. And he'll be like, I am sorry, I couldn't end corruption as I promised. And he will have the audacity to say that, comrade, I am extremely sorry, I massacred 2,000 Muslims in Gujarat 3. But is that enough? He will always be ready to say that, but it is not enough, comrade. Not even a fair NEET is enough. Because demanding a fair NEET is like demanding fair casteism and fair racism. There are no such things. Like this, NEET is itself unfair. Apart from its technical flaws, it was established with the prime motive to generate profits for the capitalists in this country. And no government, let it be a Congress government or any other state government ruled by a capitalist party, will ever dare to touch it. Let's take it for instance. In Tamil Nadu, PVK government had passed a bill against NEET. But will it stand firmly against NEET? No, because the CM Vijay himself had a coaching center and earning crores of money from it. Why would he stand against NEET? So he will never stand against NEET. I'm dead serious, comrade. When we reveal the actual numbers which the coaching centers are generating to a layman, he'll be all like, what? What, man? Then why are we protesting against it? Let's all open a coaching center and earn more money. Even a layman will think like that, comrade. That is what happening here. Education had become a common. Education had been commercialized. But all these are done under the guise of creating qualified doctors. But the irony is that, comrade, we survived a COVID-19 pandemic situation with the doctors who doesn't even know what the NEET examination is. And I would like to share one more thing, comrades. There are countries across the world which offers free education for all. Mark this, comrade, free education for all. But those countries doesn't even have an entrance examination like NEET to create a qualified professional. But in India, we have a NEET examination to create a qualified doctor. These all are just cock and bull story to cover their prime motive, comrade. That is the commercialization of education. But all these issues were not discussed in Jantar Mandar protest, comrade. It is an apolitical protest ever happened in any country. But I would also recall one thing about that, comrade. When our fellow comrade tried to participate in that protest and try to address about a political issue in that protest, the organizers of protest be like, bro, stop it, bro. Why are you making it political, bro? We are just peacefully protesting for a good cause, bro. They'll be like that, comrade. And we'll be like, bro, when did the protest become apolitical, bro? Protest is itself a political thing, bro. In this way, the Gen Zs of the nation are thinking that politics is a bad thing. Politics is itself an obscene word for them. And we have to politicalize them, comrade. We have to chase them. We have to mobilize them. That is our biggest task here. But we ourselves had many diversities and differences while dealing with many issues of this country. So, first we must organize ourselves with our fellow revolutionary and leftist organizations under common umbrella or under a common name. Then only we can mobilize the youth of this nation from Kashmir to Kanyakumari for a sole demand. A demand from which we can achieve education for all and employment for all. And we are not settling for anything less than that, comrade. Anything less than that. To do the same, we must organize ourselves, not only Rsyf, Pdsu, and Nisa, but all the revolutionary and leftist political organization must stand together, comrade. Then only we can defeat this corporate serving saffronized fascist BJP government. So, comrades, come, let's join our hands together. And let's make India red, comrades. Let's make India red. Inquilab Zindabad. And at last, just 2 words in Tamil, comrades. Nandri Vanakkam.
Okay, comrade. Thank you. Now I invite Comrade Vinod, AP PDSU. Comrade Vinod.
Okay, comrade.
Right.
Good evening, all of you. Dear comrades, in recent times, large-scale student-led movements have emigrated across various countries. These movements, largely driven by Gen Z, amplified through the social media, have raised critical concentration regarding differences in education system, corruption, uh, economic crisis, and the protection of democratic rights. In last 2 years, that means in July 2024, Bangladesh witnessed the large student movement in history. Students initially launched peaceful protection demanding the abolition of the quota system in government employment. However, the government violence response escalated the situation, transforming the movement into a nationwide popular uprising that ultimately lead the resignation of Prime Minister, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. In this type of another country in Kenya students and youth people organized nationwide protest against financial bill, which proposed significant tax increases. Coordinated through social media platforms, these movements completely the government to withdraw this bill. Student lead protests were also observed in leading universities such as Columbia, Harvard in the United States, as well as in Australia and France opposing the ongoing war in Gaza. In India, during last 13 years, Ahmed, in India, during the 13 years of the Modi government, the education sector has increasing undergone corporatization and ideological restricting. Foreign investments has been encouraged in education system. The system from schools to universities has been pushed into disarray. Students raising the critical questions within universities have often faced representation. Despite this, students have actually participated in movements such as those against CAA NRC movements. And public investments in education has steadily declined in successive budgets, while unemployment has continued to rise. Universities are facing multiple structural challenges. The University Grant Commission (UGC) has introduced regulation changes that undermine institutional autonomy, while efforts toward centralization of the education system have intensified. Recent student movements have challenged the narrative propagated by communal forces aligned with the RSS BJP, which claimed that critical thinking among students, youth, intellectuals has diminished. For nearly a decade, student engagement appeared largely confined to the digital platforms. However, these same platforms have now become powerful tools of mobilization. The movement centered at Jantar Mantar in Delhi significantly unsettled the central government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Amit Shah and Dharmendra Pradhan. Seriously, concentration has also been raised regarding the lack of transparency in national level examinations. Over the past 13 years, 159 instances of paper leaks have been reported, leading to more than 50 re-examinations. Widespread protections are currently demanding accountability in NEET, National Eligibility Entrance Test, examinations and cancelling for the abolition of the National Testing Agency, NTA. Movements against examination irregularities are also gaining moment across several states. And compared, uh, public investments in education has steadily declined in successive budgets, uh, while unemployment has continued rising. And nowadays, uh, Jantar Mantar and Jharkhand as well, student movements continues to grow. The BJP and RSS has been criticized for adopting uh, contradictory positions, responding differently to similar movements in Delhi and Jharkhand. The education system increased in this area, while corporate lead institutes are reducing students to mere instruments of production. The central government continues to extend support to such institutions. Unemployment is rising steadily, and public sector enterprises such as the railways, defense, aviation, and coal sectors are being progressively privatized. After completing their education, many students are compelled to accept insecure employment in low-paying private firms. The promise of creating 2 crores jobs annually remains unfulfilled. In this context, the spirit of inquiry and resistance among students and youth steadily strengthening. Under these situations, it is both necessary and urgent for our student organization to further educate, mobilize, and strengthen mass movements among students. Nowadays, Andhra Pradesh state in our Pdsu organization build up solidarity movements for Janjad and now Jharkhand movement. And preparing mass movements build up in Andhra Pradesh state, some local educational institutes, educational problems and unemployment problems. Uh, and our suggestion in this situation, our National Coordination Committee concentration new type of mass movements. That means how build up mass movements, unemployment and educational policies, especially anti-educational policies in central government, the student and youth problems. Andhra Pradesh state as well under a Chandrababu government, challenges in the education sector are in intensifying student suicides in corporate educational institutes such as Chaitanya, Narayana, etc. are on the rise. Rural schools being shut down and unemployment in the state continues to grow. Uh, okay, comrades. Over.
Okay, okay, comrade. Thank you, Vinod. Now I invite comrade Srijata Bakshi from West Bengal. Comrade Srijata Bakshi from West Bengal.
Hello.
Yes, comrade.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. I will not be able to switch on my camera because it is not functioning. So I
Okay,
will.
no problem. You carry on.
First of all, my name is Srijata. I am a student at Jadavpur University in Bengal, and I am studying sociology. I am a part of Pdsu, and revolutionary greetings to all the comrades present here for being able to organize this conference at such a scale. I would like to start by listing out an analysis of student movements in Bengal over the past 10 years and what tasks lie ahead of us. I will be, so there are only three parts to the analysis. Number one, if we were to look at a pattern in student movements, at least with respect to Bengal, we can find three major categories. The first one is when there is an administrative failure or inefficiency on the part of the state, where any kind of policy is questioned by students or the implementation of an existing policy fails and the corruption of the institution becomes exposed. So the primary example of this is the NEET paper leak, which led to the CJP protests. But also along with that, at least in Bengal, we've had 3 to 4 other major protests. One was in Krishna Mission, Narendrapur, where a student was killed because the administration did not call an ambulance on time. So there were large-scale student protests regarding this. Because even if the issue by itself may seem small, not that this is a small issue, this is a very huge issue, the one that I mentioned, but it usually takes one spark to trigger all the other problems as well that people have been facing for a long time. So Ramakrishna Mission, Narendrapur had happened. Student suicides in IIT Kharagpur is a very important example. In 2023, there was a student murder due to hostel ragging in Jadavpur University. We know that in ISI, there is an amendment bill being passed where ISI is going to come under a lot more central government ownership. So they will have a loss of autonomy. And second of all, a lot of scientists and researchers are very scared that a lot of funding that they get for projects which do public welfare will get siphoned off into more commercialized interests that serve the state, as well as online COVID, the online issues that people were facing during COVID. So these type of protests fall under administrative efficiency failure. This is one category. The second category would be the education and employment problem. So Bengal has historically had a very strong culture of looking at education as a way for a financially stable life. So that being given, there are a huge section of students who cannot afford high fees, they cannot afford private education, they cannot afford private tuition to be able to afford quality education. So what happens is that there is a huge need for government jobs, which is also seen in Bihar. Now, a huge section of these students prepare for these examinations for years on end, but the recruitment is low, the vacancy is low. Especially for exams, the one that I am talking about with respect to Bengal is the SSC examination and the TET examination, which is the School Service Commission and the Teacher Eligibility Test. So the recruitment is low, the vacancy is low, the competitive exams don't publish their result on time, and it takes years for the results to come out. So what happens is a huge section of these students get pushed into gig working for Swiggy, Zomato, Rapido, or having their own informal sectors of work, setting up shops, etc. But they're constantly hoping that they will get some kind of a public sector job, sarkari naukri milke, life better hogi. So while they're constantly hoping for this, what happens is, धीरे धीरे they get this sense of question that education system सबको ये promise करता है. The education system essentially promises everyone that if you work very hard and if you study hard, you will get a job. So when the education system is also uncertain and the public sector, which gives a little bit of a promise for a better, quote unquote, a better life, also is broken, then a huge section of students start feeling that even though they qualify as youth, they have left their student age because they have been trying for years and they are not getting anywhere. So what happens is they start questioning that what is my education even leading to? What is the point of all of it? So this is like a very basic broken promise of the education system, which I think even the CJP did, because there were huge sections of workers and gig workers who had attended the CJP protest as well, and the unemployed youth that had partaken in the protests. So this is a second category of problem. The third that we see is anti-communal, anti-patriarchy, where essentially just a few days ago in Bakura district, this boy named Abdul Hafiz, he was a part of the CJP protests. His father was lynched on Independence Day simply because his son had come back to Bakura and was making a lot of who was doing video journalism on the bad state of schools over there. So this is the reason this happened on Independence Day. In Alia University, a student was murdered. His name was Anish Khan. That was on communal grounds. We have the instance of Hope Kolarov around 10-15 years ago when there was a sexual harassment complaint with which the administration did not deal very well. And two hugely prominent examples that come to mind for this category are the CNRC protests, where there was a huge student mobilization, as well as the RG Kaur rape that happened. Over there also, there was a huge student mobilization as well. So on these, there are three basic patterns that we can observe for student movements, at least with respect to Bengal. Now, if we come to our tasks, number one, I think one comrade had addressed already that this is a problem that when left parties organize something, students refrain from coming into that protest. So at least as a solution, not a solution, but as a way of resolving the problem, I think that understanding the previous patterns are important, because for administrative failure, or the second category that I mentioned, education and employment, political protest should be, I think, more in a general banner, because people from various political ideologies will come. At the CJP protests, we had observed that many people who were supporters of BJP had come to the protest simply because their son was suffering from the NEET paper leaks, or they did not support the ideology. The CJP does not have any ideology, but they did not support CJP, but they supported the cause. So if administrative failures have a more general banner, there is a greater chance to mobilize more people who come from different political backgrounds. But if the issue is patriarchal or communal in nature or casteist in nature, then I think a more organized form is required, more organized form of politics, where more of our political language, whatever we learn, is put out there, because it is necessary to link identity politics to class politics. It is very important, because bourgeois parties or big parties, what they do is they use these issues of religion, regional parties use these issues of religion as their own vote banks to divide people, to divide men and women, to divide oppressed caste and oppressor castes. So it is important that on these issues, it is a more organized form. The second task, I believe, would be to build, of course, a very strong organization that is capable of giving direction to a huge mass, which the CJP could have done better, but they did not do, because by the end, while they got the Dharmendra Pradhan resignation, it was achieved, but there were two other demands that remained unfulfilled. And at a point of time, only an organization with a larger vision about the system will be able to say that, okay, this is the situation right now. We have so many masses pouring in everywhere else across India, in which case we should continue the protest and not talk to authorities and give it up, because we have managed to get one demand. So it is important that because sporadic movements will keep happening, such uprisings will keep happening. The more the corruptions are exposed, the corruptions of the system are exposed, the more such protests will happen. But there will be no organized nature to the protest, which is, I think, our role that we must fulfill. And there must also be unity in action. So it is something that I have observed in my years of student politics, that within an organization there are sometimes a lot of tendencies of the same power struggle that happens, the same competitive thing that happens outside of the organization in a normal world, where a student is competing with their fellow students to get better marks or something like that. This same power struggle also happens within organization and also with other organizations. So while it is important to critique and expose the problems of big bourgeois parties, and why they're false, why they do not actually want to change society completely, why they act as a safety valve. While it is important to do that, there must also be a lot more unity in action with other organizations, because I feel that this can be a very campus specific example, but I believe that students, at least in my experience of working in Jadavpur University, students do observe who wants to work with other people and forces who want to जस्ट उनको जाके आपका नाम खराब करना है. जस्ट कुछ संगठन होते हैं जिनका सिर्फ काम यही होता है कि वो लोग बाकी 3 संगठनों के बारे में जाके खराब बातें बोलते हैं. तो स्टूडेंट्स ना ये ऑब्जर्व करते हैं. Students observe forces who actually want to work in collaboration with everyone else, and students who forces who do not want to do that. So this kind of sectarianism has to be addressed in left politics. And also what I said, that even within our organization there has to be unity in action. A lot of power struggle and lobby problems must be avoided when we are building the organization. Fourth thing that our comrade from PMSF had mentioned, and comrade Amandeep had mentioned, that we need to have better language, creative language, and a lot more creativity in slogan, which is absolutely true. I think when we enter into a life of politics, the way we learn politics makes us believe that we have to follow it exactly like that, which needs to be modified, it needs to be changed to our coming conditions, number one. And number two, we start having a very serious lifestyle. So an ordinary student or a general person does not relate to that. It repels students. We must seem as ordinary as the next student while keeping all our political stance and our political ideas intact. Because only then will people at least have that place of trust कि इस इंसान के साथ जाके 2 बातें कर सकते हैं. तो I think that our language needs to be much more simpler. अगर जब भी हम लोग, I hope that I have tried to skip as much jargons as possible. But I feel that whenever we keep any kind of political speech or statement, we tend to use certain words which a lot of common general students do not understand, which is why they are repelled by it. We need to make it much more simpler, and we need to have, like I said, creativity in slogans. The second last thing that I would mention is our space inside the organization also has to genuinely be more accommodating, or it must give more space to people from marginalized sections in actual practice. If we want to set an example that identity politics does not oppose class politics, अगर हम लोग को ये दिखाना है कि बहुत लोग तो ये मानते हैं that मार्क्स, जो लोग अम्बेडकराइट है, अम्बेडकराइट और मार्क्सिस्ट में बहुत ऑपोजिशन है, एक साथ नहीं जा सकते वो लोग. तो अगर कास्ट का जो इशू है, रिलीजन का जो इशू है, जेंडर का जो इशू है, अगर इसको सच में रिजॉल्व करना है, तो यहाँ से इन मार्जिनलाइज सेक्शन से जो लोग आते हैं, इनको सच में जगह देना पड़ेगा. इतना ही जगह देना पड़ेगा, इतना ही इशू को रिजॉल्व करना पड़ेगा, ताकि हमारे अंदर भी जो कास्टिज्म, जो रिलीजियस इश्यूज, जो भी पेट्रियार्की अंदर है, हम लोग उसको भी अनलर्न करने का मौका पाए. एंड एट द सेम टाइम, while unlearning the problem we have within us of communalism, casteism, and patriarchy, it is also going to be a huge deterrent for a lot of regional parties who use these identities as their voter banks. जो लोग ये बोलते हैं कि हम लोग तो इसी oppressed कास्ट के लिए हम ही लोग काम कर रहे हैं, सिर्फ और कोई काम नहीं कर रहा है, और इस आइडेंटिटी के आधार पे ही उनका पॉलिटिक्स होता है. लेकिन हम सबको पता है कि वो लॉन्ग लास्टिंग नहीं होता है. तो अगर इसको सच में अपोज करना है, तो हमको अपना संगठन भी वैसे ही बनाना पड़ेगा. So and the last point that I would like to keep is that keeping all this in mind, I think that we have to work collectively, we have to work with a lot more passion. We must not treat activism as something that makes us very exhausted and tired, but we must look at activism as a part of our life that we have chosen. and that we must do it in a way where we can enjoy the process, because the outcome is going to come a lot later. Maybe we will never see the outcome. So we have to actually enjoy the process of being an activist, of doing politics every single day, no matter how tired or exhausting it may seem. So I think that is a bare minimum for us, for politics in general, to be far more sustainable in nature. I am really sorry if I took up a lot of time. I tried to keep it as short as possible. Thank you. This is all I had to say. Inkilab Zindabad.
Okay, comrade. Thank you for sharing your ideas and valuable suggestions. Uh, Actually, as I know, PDSU West Bengal extend to Jadavpur University with Comrade Srijata Bakshi. Right, comrade?
Yes.
Yes. Doing well. Uh, Lal Salam, comrade. Now, yes. Now I invite Comrade Sarwar Jahan from Assam.
Good evening, comrades. Am I audible?
Yes, comrade. You carry on. Yeah.
Good evening, comrades. First of all, my revolutionary greetings to all the student leaders here and former student leaders and senior comrades. Red salute to all the members who joined the webinar tonight. Uh, and here, my previous speaker addressed all the important points, I think, and nationwide ongoing student movements. So I'll start with my state, which is Assam. We all know it that Assam has Assam have some really less number of state and central universities, and right now Guwahati University, Assam University, everywhere students are protesting because of this new education policy and this new 4-year degree course. Nobody explained it to us properly. Suddenly, there's confusion about 7th and 8th semester admission. Student had to block roads somewhere and even burned effigy of the education minister because nobody was listening. Before we had only 3-year degree course. Now they added one more year, calling it more flexible, more choices. Sound nice really on paper, but in reality, in a place like Assam, which is economically backward, less number of income opportunities, one more year means one more year of fees, one more year before you can earn, one more year of depending on your parents' money, and the syllabus and the rule. Now, half of the time even teachers don't have the clarity. It was pushed on us without asking us first. This is the real pain point in Assam University. They said fees jumped almost 50%, just like that, no warning, no discussion. At Guwahati University they added new charges and under the name of permission fees. That is really confusing for the fourth year. The university says it's not a hike, it's just a policy. But ask any student father working in a tea garden. Assam is like based on tea mainly. So mm, for him, it's simply more money is going out of his pocket than before. That's the truth. Whatever name they give it. These are the major problems the Assam students are facing nowadays, and all over the Assam, protests are also going on in scattered ways, small group. We have to look at this ongoing protest, and we have to organize them in a umbrella. Like that's we can do for the future. Okay, comrade. Here I can conclude my.
Okay, okay, comrades. Thank you, Sarwar Jahan. Uh, all our students, senior leaders are they delivered their speech. So now I invite some senior comrades waiting. Uh, I appreciate their patience. Now I invite comrade B. Pradeep to deliver the speech.
Greetings to all comrades. I am not
Please
going to
turn on
begin.
your video, comrade. Please turn on your video if it is possible.
Yeah. ఎందుకు ఆ వీడియో ఎందుకు ముఖం కావాలా ఒక్క నిమిషం 1 second
వీడియో యూట్యూబ్ లో వస్తుందన్న. యూట్యూబ్ లో టెలికాస్ట్ అవుతున్నది అందుకని ఇప్పుడు
షర్ట్ కూడా వేసుకోవాలి కదా మనం.
రైట్ మరి కానివ్వండి అన్న.
అంటే వీడియో పెట్టుకోవాలా?
వీడియో పెడితే యూట్యూబ్ లో వస్తుంది అన్న అది. అంటే మీరు కూడా అందరు తెలుసు. రైట్, అడ్డం పెట్టండి ఫోన్.
ఎట్లా పెట్టాను? ఎనీవే,
రైట్.
yeah, greetings to all student comrades. It was nice listening to all the present student leaders from different states, right? Um, as far as the subject for discussion in this webinar is concerned, I think there should be uh, no second opinion about the importance of the movement that we have been witnessing since the last 1 month, that Jantar Mantar movement. Whoever may have been the participants or whoever may have been the leading elements or organizations, uh, in an environment when in the entire country the democratic space is being kind of reduced to nothing, right? In that kind of an environment, in an environment when the ruling party is going all hog in its fascist offensive, such a movement which has mobilized huge number of students, I think it is very significant in this particular situation, right? uh, every movement, I think, has its own, or the demands of the movement have their own limitations, right? Uh, the first point I would like to make is that this is a very positive development that we are witnessing. In fact, this particular movement has kind of uh, given a lot more space while the ruling power is trying to reduce the space. Right? This particular movement has actually, I think, created more space for a very radical student movement, right? So this is my first point. And the second point that I would like to make on the particular subject of student movements, right, is that in the past also we have seen many student movements, all right, right? Uh, Now, this particular student movement, I think, comes in the backdrop of, I'm not going into the demands NEET examination, NTA and all that, because these were the issues that actually triggered, perhaps, right? But the backdrop to this movement can also be seen in the various other movements that we have been witnessing in the last 6-7 years, right? We had the citizenship rights movement, we had various other movements, right? In the last 6 years, right? 6-7 years, right? So it is not that this movement has sprung up all of a sudden, right? This movement has its own spontaneity, all right. Character of spontaneity is all there, all right. But still, we have to look back and see, analyze. Like, for instance, from the HCU incident of Rohit Vemula to the Jama Usmania movement, right? Jamia Millia University students' activity there, right? All these are there, all these factors are there, which constitute the backdrop to the present movement that we are discussing. And my observation as far as this particular movement and the previous movements are concerned, somehow the epicenter of this movement somehow is either in Delhi or around Delhi. Like, for instance, the farmers' movement, though mobilization was basically from Punjab and Haryana, right? Whatever happened there happened around the capital city of Delhi, right? And this particular movement is centered in Delhi, though participants from various states also joined, right? And even if you see the workers' movement, it is around Delhi. The recent movements in Noida and Gurgaon, right? They're around Delhi, right? So this is one significant feature, I think. I mean, the north is rising, I suppose. Not that it was not rising earlier, right? The northern part of the country is definitely on the rise, I think. And one of the important developments that we see is the kind of upsurge in the student movement, right? That is the second thing. Now, the question is, how do we as progressive or radical revolutionary student organizations conduct ourselves in such an environment, right? Uh, I think in any spontaneous upsurge or even in any organized student activity, our student organization must must take active participation, must intervene in a way that we also influence the course of the movement, right? We may be small, all right. Like, for instance, in the recent movement, as comrade from Delhi reported, right, we could also see in the videos, right, that our comrades were present there right from day one at the Jantar Mantar, right? With whatever limited resources we have, with whatever limited strength we had, we were there, all right, right? We were participating in this particular movement, all right. So what I think is in the present context, like the Punjab comrade has also spelled out certain very relevant opinion, right? I consider that as an important opinion. Let us question ourselves, right? Uh, is there a kind of a disconnect between our organizations and the broader mass of student community? Is there some kind of a disconnect? Let us raise a question, right? Because we'll find answers once we raise the right question. Probably that will lead to answering that question correctly also, right? If you don't raise questions and if you think that sab theek hai, if all organizations present in this webinar think that sab theek hai hamare rajya mein, then I don't think we'll be able to move 1 inch forward, right? So the first question is, we should perhaps raise this case. Is there any kind of a disconnect between our organization and the general mass of students? Now, if there is, if our answer is in the affirmative, right, then we need to work out ways and means as to how to overcome this disconnect, right? Are we speaking, like the Punjab comrade also raised an issue, saying that when left organizations mobilize students, they are not coming in large numbers, right? Now, this is also a question that we should think about, right? Uh, there may have been occasions in the past when left organizations were kind of dominating the scene in the student movement. But over a period of time, that is not the situation today, right? Uh, so I think what we should do as a first step is to see to it that our organizations, with whatever strength that we have in the respective states, need to evolve a program to get to connect with the students, right? I mean, our rhetoric may not go well with the students also, because we have, let us say, every student organization participating in this webinar, they have their own manifesto. Pdsu may have a manifesto, PSU may have a manifesto, all right, right? I think, when we go with our own jargon, right, perhaps that is not really connecting with the students, right? So we have to evolve some new methods, some creative methods, right, which we have seen in the recent agitation also. What kind of agitation forms were adopted, right? And what kind of slogans were given there, right? It was really heartening to see all this, right? That may have its own limitation. That's a different story altogether, right? So I think my second suggestion would be to, you know, instead of charting out about a dozen or more demands, now let us study, analyze, and then choose one major demand on which perhaps the students can be mobilized, concentrate on that particular demand and try and do a lot of campaign so that they come out into some form of agitation, right? That kind of a method I think we should adopt, and we should be creative, not I mean, then generally there is a tendency among our leadership also that whatever we know, I mean, we start out when we speak, we start out with our own rhetoric, right? We don't see whether that is really getting into the heads of the general mass of students or not, right? And that is where the disconnect comes, right? So I think we need to be creative, and we need to concentrate on universities also, right? Our priority should be to concentrate in universities, because this recent experience also shows that once we uh, uh, kind of we have some strength in the university, it has its own impact. I mean, our own past experience also shows that, right? In Telangana or in other states also, right? When we were very strong in the universities, that movement, that activity had its own positive impact on the other institutions in that particular area, affiliated, constituent, right? Uh, Colleges, institutions, right? So I think we need to plan some kind of chart out some program to concentrate in universities, allocate comrades to work in the universities. At the same time, yes, our concentration should also be there in those government colleges, junior or degree colleges, where the marginalized study, right? In hostels, right? We have social welfare hostels, BC hostels. There also our concentration should be there, I think. I mean, as far as the tasks question is concerned, I have these few suggestions, and uh, yeah, I think these are some of the suggestions that I would like uh, for the time being, right? So let us discuss, right? And I hope all our organizations, under whatever banner in different states are there, right? We should also learn. I mean, it's not that because we know about revolution, we are people who want to change this society, right? It doesn't mean that we should not learn. It's not just that we we teach, we also learn from other experiences also, right? Not necessarily very radical forces perhaps, but from other movements also we should learn, right? I mean, we should keep our minds open with our own convictions, right? With our own understanding, we should also keep our minds open, right? हमारा दिमाग भी थोड़ा खुला रहना, बंद किए तो नए आइडियाज तो आते नहीं, वही दोहराते रहते हैं, बार बार वही बात करते रहते हैं, लेकिन एक वो बातों से एक 10 लोग भी हमारे पीछे नहीं जम रहे हैं, ऐसा भी हो सकता है सिचुएशन, राइट? So comrades, with this I'll conclude, and with the hope that the leadership of our student organizations critically think and evolve some kind of a work plan in their own state. If we are today present in one college, the entire work plan should also consist how do we extend our organization into other institutions and colleges, right? What is the method of expanding our organization, extending our organizations into new institutions and colleges, while at the same time trying to consolidate wherever we are, right? So I hope the state committees, state leadership of different states, right, will think about these things, and then hopefully plan. And perhaps next year, if there is a webinar, every state organization will say, okay, since August last, right, we have been doing this, and we have gained so much. Uh, we have grown, right? Our organization is much more developed than what it was in our last webinar. I hope that will happen, right? Thank you, comrades.
Okay, okay, thank you, comrade, for your valuable suggestions. Comrade Muruganji, I now invite Comrade Muruganji.
Yes.
Yes, yes, comrade.
Uh, okay. I would say a few things. One thing uh, is that it is good that so many people are participating and everyone has expressed their views. But I think there are certain lessons we should take from it, as uh, Mao also said that learn from the people. We should learn from the people, and whatever we learn from the people, then we give it back to them. So this particular movement has a lot of things for us to learn. It is correct. That movement was not ideologically backed. It is also correct that it was not a, in that sense, a political movement because it was not following any particular ideology. These things are correct, but yet we have to learn one thing, that this could mobilize so many people on genuine demand. So this gives us something that many people have expressed also, that when we organize people, people don't come in our background. Otherwise, they come. So I think one thing we should learn this movement is told us that we have to speak the language of the people. We have to take the demands which people understand. Now, some people have said that what happened if the when Pradhan has changed? Someone like that has come. Maybe worse person has come. But that does it demean the movement? Does it demean that the achievement of resignation of a minister is a small thing? No. It is for the first time made this government accountable. People would have continued with the movement. Now we want to scrap NTA, want to scrap NEP, only then we'll lift. The movement would have flopped, and whatever we are seeing after this movement, every where in India, every place, in different states, from school students to college students, they're on rise. They have taken inspiration from this movement. They have taken inspiration. Yes, a movement can achieve something. People's united action can achieve something. I think this is a lesson we should take from this. If we keep speaking our language and not speaking the language that people understand, we shall remain isolated. We have to take the issues to the people, like, for example, new education policy. FYEP or system, choice-based trade system, is not enough because the counter propaganda is there. The FYUPs and CBCS are like American system. You will be directly eligible for American universities. You have choice of subjects. If you're taking a main subject as a biology, still you can take physics, you can take arts in choice-based trade system. So we have to counter this propaganda. FYUP may be a 4-year program, but it actually is a program which has formalized the discontinuation of education. Dropout has been formalized because it has given 4 exit points. And the first 2 exit points people may not be using, but you remember, those who exit will exit for the financial reasons. And for them, it will be difficult to come back. This year, data from Delhi said that many people have not registered for 4th year. This is the first time 4th year has come, and many people have not registered for 4th year. Right? Because of they think after 3 years we get a degree, why waste time? So these are the kind of things. Not just this, there's a financial implication. It's correct. There's a financial burdening for the family to continue for 4 years to just get a bachelor's degree. But this is also true that people, even after 4th year, they would not have got the job. So people are going for different options. So this is where we have to come. Credit-based system, they said they have all the choices, but are these choices available? Have you created enough sufficient infrastructure? Have you created sufficient teachers, sufficient subjects? That's the system will work. So I'm just thinking aloud that many things can be such. But what I want to make is that we should take the points which pinches the people. Then they will apply. If you take the point, okay, oppose NEP, he doesn't even know NEP. Even if you understand, they tell him it's good NEP is this is, it's a not tangible demand. We may not be able to meet it. So they may not come. They may even agree, despite agreeing with you, they may not come. But if we show them a demand which is immediate and tangible, they will come, and in that process, we can educate them for longer thing. for long-term demands. If we start with long-term demands and think unless and until we get long-term demand, then we can demand the revolution first. So unless and until revolution takes place, we will not, all the problems will not be solved. So let's go to for revolution. So I think that is where we are probably sometimes we are lacking. We should speak their language and use their means. See, this is another thing they have this movement has shown us. They've used totally different semantics. They use a different language. They've made they've rendered older social millennium generation social media things, Facebook, WhatsApp, etc., as obsolete. And that's where even Amit Malviya has failed. Amit Walia was using millennial generation, and this Gen Z was using Gen Z generation things. Crisp, small things, very small reel, 10 seconds, 1 minute reels, memes, which doesn't have much thing but meaningful, satirical, crisp slogans. The entire process of Amit Malia was to build narratives that they are Naxalites, that they are Pakistanis, Muslims. By the time they could build the narrative, it was countered by this Gen Z because of these newer methods. Instagram, Snapchat, they just crushed the older things. So I think this is thing we should learn from them. And we should use these things. Maybe we are not very conversant with this. So we should find people who are conversant with this. We should get conversant with these things and start using these things. We should use their methods, their languages, and our ideology. And student movement we can build only when we have the demand which hits them, their immediate demands. Then only they will come forward. Otherwise, we can have propaganda programs. Long-term demands, we can have propaganda programs, which we can have. We can have those in pamphlets. In the end, that when the Pradhan decides, scrap NTA. But main demand, which is pressing demand, which people think should be achieved. Their anger was against the Dharmendra Pradhan, not against NTA, because they don't even know what NTA is, or what are the problems with the NTA, what is the problem of centralization of examination. So that things can be addressed. In the process, we can educate them. But demand that we have to raise is something which agitates them and which they think they can achieve or they should achieve. Then only they will come forward. So this is my small submissions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, comrade. Now I invite comrade Arup Baisia from Assam, senior comrade. She is there? Arup Baisia.
Yes.
Yes, comrade.
Missionary greetings to all.
Yes.
Actually, nothing much left for me to add. You have discussed at length the character of the present dispensation in power and the education reform or change, the form and style of the movement, and to senior comrades added valuable inputs in your discussion. I listened to your discussion very attentively, and based on that, I decided to dwell on from a different perspective that can set our agenda ahead. I think it would not be, or it would be pertinent to look back at the 1960s students' movement, the 60s of last century witnessed a series of, or rather wave of students' movement in different countries. The context of the different countries were different, but common thread was the crisis of the capitalism. This is one aspect. The second aspect is that in the US, the left student movement or the student movement accommodated the other social issues which the Bengal comrade were highlighting. Predominantly in the institutions where the students of common masses studied, though the center of gravity of the movement was the prestigious universities, where students were speaking truth to the powers. So this is the second aspect. In this context, the present capitalism crisis has deepened compared to the 1968. The setting, global capitalist setting has changed. It is somewhat, we can say, a declining neoliberalism. And in this setting, we witnessed a upheaval in our capital city. The movement we witnessed in Delhi was, of course, the outburst of angst and accumulated angst and anger of the students and young community. But it was also the culmination of series of long drawn out movements in and around Delhi. The movement has developed into a wave, and the crest of the wave, the highest point of the wave, was visible on 20th July. And that revealed the collective consciousness of the students and the youth masses. If we compare the collective consciousness of the 20th July with any other left-oriented organized students movement of our time, we can definitely conclude that the collective consciousness was at the higher plank on July 20 episode than any other students movement, organized students movement. Under the left dispensation. Why such characteristics appeared? It appeared because of the spontaneous participation of the large section of students and youths belonging to the working class people, working class families on 20th July. So this context sets the task for our left student movement or left student organization. We must demand for free education for all the students belonging to the working class families in government institutions. And we must appeal to the students who gathered along this CJP movement to go to the living and workplace of the working class, get integrated with them, and bring the students of the working masses to this movement. These two things are primary tasks of this present situation. Comrade from Bengal was focusing on caste and identity question, but this question must be visualized from a working class perspective. One comrade, probably from Science Forum, he was telling that, is there any guarantee that this CJP movement will succeed? or make any reform or change. There is no guarantee in anything. But the uprising, the consciousness level of the uprising determines the seizure of power. So this was an uprising. This was an upheaval. And it determined the collective consciousness of the students' youth community. Our endeavor should be to generate students' movement on diverse issues, and students' movement should address the social issues too, as our comrade from Bengal was pointing out, so that we can generate another wave through wave interference that will reveal the higher consciousness level than the consciousness we have witnessed in this movement. In this way, we can develop our students' movement and bring the students within the fold of the left students' organization. In Assam, the left students' organization is a very marginal force. It's a very marginal force. The nationalist students' organization, ASU, though they are discredited, they are predominantly present in all the institutions. So it is very difficult to develop a students' movement in left direction until and unless the political discourse in Assam is radically changed towards left. Now the BJP is ruling the roost and determining the political narrative, and the left are developing a narrative which is nationalist leftism. So we have to tread a long path. We have to build movement of the workers and peasants here to change the political narrative of Assam. And in that situation only, the ASU can be removed or isolated from the students by the left dispensation. With these few words, I conclude. Thank you. Lal Salam.
Okay, Comrade Lal Salam. Thank you very much. Now I invite Comrade P. Prasadan, former PDSU leader.
Hello? Hello?
Anna.
Is it listenable?
Yes, Anna, you carry. Right.
Comrades, I am conveying my revolutionary congrats to all the participants.
Anna, if it is possible, please turn on your video.
Hello? Hello?
Right, Anna.
Okay, comrades. Comrades, first I say, I speak in English, in poor English. I am having some limitations in my English. Please request comrades to understand my language. Take spirit from my language, not see grammatical mistakes, etc. Comrades, I use word we and our instead of you and ever. Actually, 46 years ago, I relieved from Pdsu organization from erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. But I am imagining myself as one of you. So I use words we, our. Please understand me. Actually, though I am not a student leader right now. History has given very good opportunity to us to go ahead, it will be utilized and used by us in proper way. NEET is only triggering point. Blasting issue is unemployment in this regard. So even if they take measures, some reforms in regard to NEET, it will not be concluded. It will not be satisfied by the students and youth because of unemployment issue is ahead. They can't find a solution to the unemployment at all. It seems like a spontaneous movement, but it is not 100% spontaneous movement. If we see in macro level view, in macro with if you see with macro wearing of macro level glasses to our eyes, it seems like spontaneous movement. But if we wear micro level spectacle glasses to with our eyes, it is not spontaneous movement because without in this 10 years period so many student movements were occurred. Very heroic struggles also occurred. Even JNU, Allahabad University, Jadavpur University, Kharagpur, Pune, Chennai, Central University, Hyderabad, etc. Many heroic struggles were done. Those struggles might have been defeated, might have not been succeeded, but those movements created some atmosphere in the student community in overall line. Those struggles are not in vain or wasteful. And another factor is our student community is not isolated section from the society. Peasant community, they done heroic struggles 13 months, 14 months in 2020 and 21. And heroic struggles are going on in various sectors, including working class. In this year, 2 waves of working class struggles were occurred. As Comrade Pradeep told, near Delhi industrial areas. Who are they? The sons and daughters of these communities, working class or peasant community, are the students. So students are not isolated section. So those struggles also which are going on in society, that also impacts student community. So it is not actually spontaneous struggle. Yes, we could not find out. Yes, our revolutionary student unions could not find this movement in proper time. We are behind, no doubt. We should realize, we should understand. But for this defect also, there were many reasons, external and internal, and also subjective and objective reasons are there. So we should not, we need not to worry or we need not to bother about, we need not to shy for it. Comrade Lenin says, in sometimes eagle can come to the nearer to the soil, earth, but in sometimes hen will fly 2 yards or 3 yards. Then eagle, then hen will higher than eagle also, but hen will not fly as eagle. In sometimes CJP can create movement, can motivate the student community than us, but CJP cannot become a eagle. only our revolutionary student organization only see as a eagle. So, for example, mingling with the students is a task, motivating the students is a task, mobilization of the students is a task. M cube. Without mingling with the student community, we can't motivate the students. Without motivating the student community, we can't mobilize them we can't bring them into roads. But now CJP had fulfilled some extent some task. They have motivated and brought the student community on the roads. But they can't do run the student community in the proper way at all. Not at all. Because we should bring the student community into organization frameworks, our organization frameworks. Then we can politicalize them. These two tasks are ahead. Then only if we create political vision through political ideas and thoughts, then only that organization can run the movement in a proper way up to end. This is a long road, not short road. They have done some activities. We should see their victory as a positive development, no doubt. We should not criticize them in openly, but this unity struggle we should maintain. Unity for student community, struggle for student community, not for politics. Because student community centric, we should act as a student community centric, but not political centric. Yes, definitely we have our political ideology, no doubt. We should commit and continue those commitment should be there. But in the same time, in the view of ordinary students, we should nearer to the student community as comrade Punjab comrade Amardeep told and supported by comrade Pradeep and Mrugank etc. comrades also. This is a very long road. We should maintain up to the travel in macro level way of struggle. The CJP, we should join with them and together we should continue in struggle way for the student community interest of students. Yes, definitely, as comrade Punjab comrade told, our language, our jargon will not in political jargon. Very simple language, simple living, high thinking. Simple language, high thoughts. Our thoughts will be like Himalayas, but our acts will mirror to the student community. We are not tailors. Tailism is not our idea, but in the same time, we can't disconnect with the students also, struggling students. We should motivate them, we should bring them into roads, and also we should travel with them. But we should go forefront with them, not behind. But in the same time, we should not detach with them. So language also very main thing. Our behavior also main thing. So our student comrades will travel with the CJP also up to months or weeks or even 1 year, 2 years also we may travel with them as long as they in macro level at least. If micro level differences are there, we can put aside them. I will just greeting once again. I conclude once again. I concluded.
Okay, okay, comrade. Thank you. So, so if anyone wants to talk in webinar, please speak, comrade. It is open appeal to everyone. Any comrade wants to speak, you speak one by one, and sharing your ideas also and suggestions. Ideas are welcome, comrade. Okay, Vitul K. Gupta, Professor Dr. Vitul K. Gupta.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to join this really great group, which I think, a few days back that such groups of students is extinct. So my submission is I am making 3-4 points which I have gathered over the conversation. Uh, the comrade from Punjab has made a great point that people are not conducive to follow left, especially in Punjab. I don't know about any other state, but from my experience, I am a hardcore leftist from my father. Father was a leftist, and I was 9 year olds, and my sister was 7 year olds when we were arrested by the Punjab police in relation to Naxalite movement. So I am that hardcore leftist, you can say. So I think our political leadership has failed us because we cannot showcase their achievements in West Bengal as well as in Kerala, because these are the two states where left government was there. So it is very difficult to attract students or any politically aware people to left movement. Second, the cockroach Janata Party movement in Jantar Mantar, as lot of speakers have expressed their viewpoints, that got successful only because of the concentration on the issue, irrespective of political affiliations. So I think that student movement should give us a learning lesson that we should all combine our forces behind an issue rather than political affiliations. As far as I think, all political parties, irrespective of political affiliations, are doing the same things, expressing the constitutional rights of citizens, whether it is AAP government in Punjab, or it is Jharkhand government, or the BJP government, or any other government. You will find examples of expression of constitutional rights for all political parties. So my suggestion is to go for an issue based approach with a broader political consensus. Only that thing is going to give us a critical movement which can be effective in restoring the constitutional rights, because present regime, you name any institution, has been suppressed, and students, if they voice their concern, they are victimized and there is no place to go. NMC also says, I took up a student's matter with NMC, and NMC sent me the message that that is the university affair. NMC has no place to interfere. That is what NMC is thinking. So we must all work to restore the constitutional, agencies or constitutional bodies, so that people can go there for redressal of their grievances. So that is my take. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to express my concerns. Thank you.
Okay, okay, comrade. Comrade Prince, Telangana.
Revolutionary greetings to everyone. First, I would like to appreciate Pdsu JNU for participating in the Jantar Mantar protest and showing solidarity. Today's webinar is about current students' movement and our task. We have discussed how governments are suppressing students' rights and how movements are facing repercussions. We all recognize these realities, but I feel we have discussed our task comparatively less, especially how to build our organizations at the campus, workplace, or sustain movements, and develop stronger student organizations. And So I would like to ask two questions, if anyone can answer in the panel or from the organizations. Uh, so across the India, students are mobilizing around different issues, but many movements lose momentums once the immediate issue is resolved. So the question is, how can we transform spontaneous protests into sustained, independent, and powerful movements? And my second question would be, student movements are often divided by region or universities or ideology or specific demands. So, how can we build a broader national student movement while maintaining ideological clarity and avoiding a temporary issue based collision? Thank you, comrade.
Okay.
Can you repeat the first question?
Sorry?
Can you
Yeah,
repeat the
yes,
first
please.
question?
So my question is, across the India, students are mobilizing around different issues, right? But many movements loses momentum once the immediate issue is resolved. So how can we transform spontaneous protesters into a sustained, independent, and powerful student movement?
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Okay. So, wait, Prince. Someone answer these two questions. And Srijata, she also raised her hand.
Will I speak?
Yes, you raise your hand, right?
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Okay, so I think another very important thing to learn from this CJP protest was the fact that so many students knew that on 20th July there will be lathi charge, and a lot of students knew that there will be police brutality. But the fact that there were students who were making reels that ja raha hu maar khane, like this was like a very common reel that students were making. So there was an actual loss of fear from the students' mind collectively that if the issue is right, I should go and fight. People fought with their parents to be able to go join the protests. And nobody, this fear of lathi charge not only dissipated, but when the lathi charge actually happened, there were students who were fighting back, at least from a very basic place of right to self defense. Ki even when a lot of big groups were condemning this कि नहीं हम लोग तुम सब कोई पीसफुल प्रोटेस्ट रखो एब्सोल्युटली पीसफुल प्रोटेस्ट रखो लेकिन इफ अगर लाठी चार्ज हो रहा है तुम पे तो तुम क्या करोगे तुम बस मार खाते रहोगे so there were a lot of students even in Bengal when there was a brief period of tear gas and lathi charge on students but the students retaliated with as simple many things as simple as PVC pipes or slippers or random things and yes the mainstream media did a very good job of even showing that as problematic कि नहीं देखो यहाँ तो इतना violence हो रहा है and yes we have a long way to go before we reach a political consciousness where people realize that okay I do have the right to self defense and if a lathi charge comes back I can and I should fight back if brutality is coming down on me so I think that was a very important thing in this protest that a lot of students did not fear the fact that they will get beaten up.
okay. So, ah, okay. P. Prasadanna. Sai, I requesting to you these. You answer these two questions. There is two
Comrade
questions.
Pradeep, Comrade Pradeep.
Okay. Pradeepan.
Yeah, Mahesh, what is it?
Two questions, Anna. Access. Prince, once again you tell.
No. I heard those questions all right. It all depends on us. What question? First question was how do we really get into